All right, on to this discussion now. So tensions are running high in Mozambique as the country awaits the results from the presidential elections. The outcome from the October 9 vote is expected this week. But there's been protests against the disputed results that's already marred the allegations of vote rigging. Two close associates of a leading opposition candidate, Venancio Mondlane, were shot and killed over the weekend. But for more on this, we are joined by the executive coordinator of the Center for Investigative Journalism in Mozambique, Mr. Luis Nhachote. Mr. Nhachote, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. From the 9th of October up until now, of course, there's quite a wait for the official declaration of results there in Mozambique. But I want to get your sense of, where you put the results yourself, whether or not you would view these results as free and fair.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on this morning. We have an electoral system who is different, for example, for the other countries like what I can say, the English-speaking countries and the Commonwealth communities, most of them they use the Anglo system for counting the results. Here in Mozambique, we don't have any electronic votes. The people has to vote in the ballots, and then they are counted by hand. That's why when we started democracy 30 years ago, we're still facing the same problems because the election results takes almost 2 weeks. 2 weeks is enough time for the fraudulent places in the election. That's why we have a lot of noise, we have assassination because of that, because the parallel accounts of the opposition are made shows that the results announced by the official body of the National Electoral Commission are not the same with the findings of the opposition.
And so let's put forward what the opposition then says is the result that they have observed.
Yes, they have observed, and they share it. Since last year, so the opposition, especially the main opposition, they start learning how to control the process. Last year, for example, in October, with the same figure, this Venancio Mondlane, when he was running for Maputo municipality, the people who were sitting at the table representing opposition, because we have independent people to control the votes. Also, we have people from the parties are represented at the ballots, seated at the same table, and they start counted. So at the end of the process of the voting, so all have to sign that documents with that official result. So what they're doing, they are taking that result, they are making pictures of that docs, and they send for central room where people are starting this, beginning the process of synchronize the results. So they don't need to take 2 weeks, 15 days to have what is happening. So what's happening? What's happening during that process? After the first 5 days, who has to announce the results? Their district election commission. After that, the ballots are taken from all the province and sent to Maputo, the capital, where the body of National Election Commission, we are composed by 17 persons, which 10 are from the parties with representation in parliament, and other 7 comes from where we are calling civil society. So this is the process from sending votes from this side, from district to the capital of the province and the Maputo. Between those movements where the fraud are beginning massive. So when the figures of national elections start announcing the results, so the oppositions also start to complain. They say that's not true. That's not true because we have the proper results. And what the opposition are making now, they're sharing the Google Forms, the Google Docs with the evidence of what's taking place. And they send this to the court. But court don't take this like it's a proper evidence because they have the results come from the electoral bodies, And then the Dutch Electoral Commission are composed by the ruling party, the major opposition party, the parties with representation in parliament. So at the other parties, we were not in representation parliament, so they don't have the same chance with that to control the process.
Yeah, it's interesting. Can we talk about the assassinations? And you've touched on those, right? The Podemos lawyer, Elvino Dias, and party representative Paulo Guambe. Can we start with Elvino Dias, what we know about them, and also the details of the assassinations, exactly what happened, the information that's been gathered?
We have a mix of misinformation on this process, because the first statement of that was coming from the spokesperson of police here. And then at the same day, at the end of the day, we have the Minister of Interior. The first spokesperson, he told that allegedly the police in the first findings, they learned that probably those was killed because of problems involves women's, but at the end of the day, the Minister of Interior, so he didn't mention that. He said that the police will try to do their best. But we know, everyone knows that those people was killed because the process is highly tense. Everyone are very nervous. And so those people, as lawyers, both, they are a part of the lawyers who are organized. They were the principal figures who organized to complain against those results started releases by the Electoral Commission.
Yeah.
So that's why those, because political reasons. We don't have doubts on that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Human Rights Watch's Nhachote, who's come out and said that Elvino Dias, the Podemos lawyer, had been leading legal efforts against the disputed elections when that assassination took place. And in that assassination, the indications are that 10 to 15 bullets were shot. I mean, it's quite a violent incident. And then protests expected to take place today?
Yes, the major leader of the, not major leader, the Venancio Mondlane, who is a phenomenal political in Mozambique now, since past years as a member of parliament. So he's legal representative guy was Elvino Dias, So he since on past days he is most focused, and he says that they will take place today a manifestation. So they will go to streets. So he invite everyone, because this first intention was the people stay home to protest against those results. But after those both assassinations, say no, we have to go to the streets. So they expected people around 9:30 in the center of town, Maputo, the place where those people was killed. He will lead in person the march across the capital. And the manifestation is something legal by the Constitution here.
Well, here's the issue, is that there's fears that these protests that are set to take place today as a result of those assassinations could turn violent or bloody, and you can talk to me about that. But if that has any impact then on whether or not the results will in fact be announced then on Thursday this week?
We are, I'm not quite sure. Today the weather is not favorable for that because it's raining. And second, we start to have police riots units against units. So part of the struggle of the states are on the force of the states, police, secret service, every law enforcement are on the streets past 2-3 days just to control the movements. So who interested to protest against this, and so everyone could be possible to happen today. So we are praying as Christians that not have blood bath on the streets, and that could be peaceful. Yesterday, one of the figures of Academy in Mozambique, he the main police today to leave the manifestation. The opposition guy go to the street of the people, and the police have to be more careful and do the job to control the march, not to banning them to do that.
Yeah, and with these protests coming up, also the assassinations, perhaps you can speak to me about what the leadership of Frelimo is saying as well, right? You've got Daniel Chapo, the presidential hopeful for this election, one wonders if he's feeling confident in the run-up to the announcement on Thursday. And also if there has been any utterances from himself or the President Nyusi about these assassinations as well.
We didn't hear yet President Nyusi, but it was very interesting to find that the ruling party candidate, Daniel Chapo, he released his feelings on the events of 2 days ago. So he basically demanded a rapid investigation, and he said that the state of law, we can live with fear. So it was interesting to see that, because it shows like he is not agreement with the way he was taking lives of the people. So and most of the organization, writers, lawyers, and economists, so everyone writing and to protest and dying and telling the state that there has to be quick response, quick investigation, independent. Find the people, these people have to take to the court.
And we'll be watching to see what comes out of those investigations, if indeed they do take place. But Luis, before I let you go, I'm keen to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, for the current ruling party in Mozambique, and certainly if you relate it to here in South Africa, the relationship between Frelimo and the ANC going back decades, right? I don't think anyone can deny that. But and that, of course, being linked to the two parties' liberation for freedom of Mozambique and of South Africa and various other countries. But what's particularly interesting is I'm keen to hear about what you make of how the young voters in Mozambique are really looking at Frelimo when you consider the fact that they won independence of Portugal in 1975. So you're possibly looking at a generation that does not have those sentiments about Frelimo. So what is the youth vote looking like at the moment in Mozambique?
Good question. You know, the youngest generation who was born after the first election, so they're now the age of vote, you know, they're able and full capacity to vote. And then we are talking about the people who are 30 years now and less, until 21, 18, 12 years. It's meaning that those generation, we are part of people who are doing the university degree in normal countries, you know. And so they did find the first opportunities or to work or to do something to be independent. It's a part of the people who are opposition, understanding that the major, we have 17% the Mozambican people are young, at the age of 18 to 25. So those people are protesting against the lack of opportunity to start their lives. So this is the vote was basically directed to the opposition, because Venancio and also Chapo, the two of the four candidates, they are at the age of 47 and 15. So they talk the same languages with those young people.
All right,
so
very interesting. Luis, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Luis Nhachote, who is the Executive Coordinator for the Center for Investigative Journalism in Mozambique, speaking to us about the assassinations that have taken place. This is as we get closer and closer to the announcement on Thursday of those elections in Mozambique. All right.